Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy that you are here today because today I'm going to be filming my TBRvatar for March. So, March as a reading month is going to be really exciting because I'm going to be part of, or I'm going to try to participate in two different readathons. One of them is the main quest of a Game of Thrones readathon hosted by Dasha, Robin and Ray. I will link it down below. I participated in the small part in November, or I tried anyway, and now it's gonna be full month readathon and I'm so excited for that. And then the second readathon is going to be the magical readathon Orilium Gear Up. So it's going to be only 1 week during March, and this readathon is hosted by G. She had the first big one, a novice path, in September, which was really exciting. I absolutely adore this readathon. So I'm really excited. And then on top of all of this, I will also do my TBRvatar game because, as I said, that's just what I want to do. I want to hold myself accountable to just pick the books and read the books that I own. And hopefully I'll be able to finish the game this month because I'm quite close to the end. And then, then I can spend April reading whatever I want, which would be perfect since that's supposed to be a full-blown 1 month long readathon for the magical readathon hosted by G. So we'll see if that happens. She hasn't announced it yet, but we'll see. So let's start with the books I read in February and that I picked in my previous TBR. So the first book that I picked was The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. This was for a long book, which is very long, you know, almost 1000 pages. And I'm reading it still. I'm on page 576, so like almost 60% through, but I'm buddy reading it with Diana, so it's taking its time a little bit because, yeah, we don't both always have time to read, so I'm still reading it. Definitely will finish because I love it so far. So that's the first book. A good point. Second book was continuous series, and that was, I picked The Scorched Trials by James Dashner, which is the second book in the Maze Runner series, and I did read this. Third was a sneak peek, so I went into Rachel's video, TBR for February, and she picked The Vanishing Half, which is this one. I started it. I'm on page 64, so not that far in, but I have still 3 days left of the month, so I will definitely get further in, and I don't know, if not finished, then I'll finish it in March, but yeah, so I'm reading this month, so that's great. And the last book was for the Cabbage Pod. I did not manage to read the Veronica Decides to Die by Paulo Coelho, but I did read the Black Flamingo by Dean Etta. I still haven't searched how to pronounce it. Anyway, the Black Flamingo, and I did read this. So that's 4 completed books, or 4, completed prompts. So I'm gonna be taking 4 steps forward as a reward for reading them. And then comes into play a little bit of a punishment because I did get some books. I did haul some books, so I want to use this also as a mini haul. So I got, first would be This Woven Kingdom by Tahereh Mafi, which was a part of the Illumi Crate box for January. So this, but also The Ivory Key by Akshaya Raman. And I will not be counting this one for my punishment because that was, like, both of these books came in the same box and I didn't know there would be 2 books. So that's not my fault that I got 2. So I'll be taking 1 step backwards for This Woven Kingdom. And then today, actually, I bought Burnt Sugar by Avni Doshi, and I got it in a secondhand store for like €1. So that was a perfect purchase. And yeah, so I'll be taking 2 steps back. So that's 2 steps forward in total. I will not be taking any punishment, additional punishment for the, not reading the books I buy, because I bought this book in January and I am reading it, so no punishment there. So in total, we are starting with 2 steps forward. Yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it and roll number 1. Okay, so last time we ended up here, and now we have to take 2 steps forward. As we mentioned, 4 steps forward, 2 steps back for reward and books I bought, so 2 steps forward. And from here we go, so maybe we'll be able to finish all the way to the end, but we'll see, because if we end up here we could even go backwards, but we'll see. I have this new die, hopefully it will be, I don't think you can see it right now, different color, but you'll be able to see it soon. So let's go for roll number 1. Oh man, we started with 1. 1, so 3 steps back. Brilliant. 1, 2, 3. And that's a cabbage pot. This is not going great. Oh man. Okay, so for roll number 1 we went backwards and got cabbage pot, which I was really hoping I wouldn't get because there was no cabbage pot forward. Anyway, we went backwards. Why not? So I got cabbage pot, so I'm going to record my screen. Now I'm recording my screen. I have all the books I own here, or all the unread books I own, and audiobooks and all these things as well. So I'm going to shuffle 3 times. 2, 3, and let's see what cabbage pot gives us. I'm so scared. This could be awful. Or it could be great. This changes everything. I believe this is... Give me a second. This Changes Everything is a book by Naomi Klein. It is a non-fiction book, and it's focused on basically discussing capitalism versus the climate. So it's basically, yeah, it's mostly about environment and how the world basically influences, or how we as people influence the climate change. So yeah, this is going to be the cabbage pot pick, which is pretty cool because this can be, I haven't decided if it would be the March book for my Green Books for All book club, but this is perfect and it's not that long. How long are you? Okay, it's pretty long, it's almost 500 pages. But Naomi Klein is one of the most famous and most recognized and respected writers and authors for climate change and the problems in the world and issues in the world. So I'm sure this is going to be a very interesting read, and I'm really excited to read this. And yeah, I introduced to you the pick for March Book Club Green Books for All. So that's that, and now let's go for roll number 2. Alrighty, roll number 2. Hopefully a bit more than 1, and hopefully not 3. Let's see. That's a 6. That's better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great, that's a re-roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We don't want 8. Anything but 8. Come on, anything but 8. And another 6. I'm not cheating, I swear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. TBRvatar, that's fun. TBRvatar means I get to ask a friend to pick a book for me. Fun. Okay, I apologize for the change in light. The sun has set, so I had to, make adjustments. Second roll was TBRvatar, which means let a friend or a family pick a book for you. So I asked my boyfriend to come and pick a book for me, and he actually picked this one. This Woven Kingdom by Tahira Mafi. This is a YA fantasy inspired by Persian Empire. And this just came out at the end of January, and I have this beautiful special edition from Illumicrate. And yeah, that's pretty much all I know about it right now, and this will be my second book on the TBR. So let's go for roll number 3. Okay, and let's hope this is the last roll, and if we end up get enough to get here, there's gonna be no book for that. It's just these 2 books and that's it. So hopefully not 2. That would be awful. That would take us back all the way to the cabbage pot. So hopefully anything but 2. Anything but 2. Hey, it's a 4. Awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4. Brilliant. Love it. Okay, and after roll number 3 we finished the game, which means we finished the TBRvatar for this batch. Anyway, I started in October, November, I didn't play in December, January, February. 5 months. 5 clear months only of playing, so that's been a journey. Anyway, so this means I will not be picking a book for this, so I'll have only 2 books for this month, which is these 2 for the month. This Changes Everything and this Woven Kingdom, both of them starting with this. And then I will not, this means also that I will get a reward for not having to play TBRvatar in April next month. So then I will be able to read whatever I feel like that month, so that's gonna be kind of a reward. And I also said that I would be donating money, so I think I will be donating money to some Ukrainian focused organization to help them out because this entire madness just went down, so I will be doing that. But yeah, let's go into the other 2 readathons that I talked about. So I want to talk about books I will be reading for those readathons. So let's start with the first one, Game of Thrones readathon. And this basically continues from the beginner's journey back in November, and I did try to participate in that, but I didn't complete any of the books in time. I did complete them, but not within the 2 weeks period that this mini readathon was happening. But I want to be joining this one, the main quest, and so I will be sticking with the House Baratheon because I'm no traitor. So I will be sticking with the House Baratheon. So the first prompt is a group prompt that is prompt for everyone. So either you are starting the series, starting the readathon, or you played it in November. So since I played in November, my prompt is continue with the series. And for this, I'll be reading the Death Cure by James Dashner, which is the 3rd book in the Maze Runner trilogy series. I have read this one before, many years ago, but now I'm rereading it, and I read the 2nd book in the series last month, or well, this month, so I will be continuing with the series, so I'll be reading the Death Cure. Next up we have for the Baratheon prompts, so we have Visit the Great Sept of Baelor, read a book about, set in, or inspired by a different time period, and for this I want to read this Woven Kingdom, because it is inspired by the Persian Empire, which was way in the past, so I'll be reading this one for that. The second prompt is Kingsguard, which is read a book featuring a bodyguard or a security or military detail, and for this one I'll be reading The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini, which we don't have the military indirectly, like directly in the story, but it is on the background of a war in Afghanistan. I'm really excited for The Kite Runner. I can't believe I haven't read it yet because I read all the other books by Khaled Hosseini and absolutely adore his books, so excited to finally read it. Okay, next prompt in the readathon is Hand with King Robert. Read a book with the protagonist over the age of 30, and for this I'm also bending the rules a little bit. I will be reading Fox and I by Catherine Raven. This is a non-fiction, more or less memoir about Catherine and how she befriended a fox, and it's focused on the nature and on animals, and I imagine this will be a really beautiful read, so I will be reading that. And I know when she talks about this, like in this book about herself, she herself is like younger and she just like grows, so she's talking about her life, but it is non-fiction, and I imagine by the end of the book she'll be around 30 or something like that. I think I'm bending the rules here a lot, but that's okay. I allow it. So Fox and I. And the last prompt for the Game of Thrones readathon is Collect Secrets for Berries. Read a book about secrets. And for this I'll be reading On Earth We Are Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Wong. Okay, this is a letter from a son to a mother who cannot read. Written when the speaker, Little Dog, is in his late 20s, the letter unearths a family's history that began before he was born. It tells of Vietnam, of the lasting impact of war, and of his family's struggle to forge a new future, and it serves as a doorway into parts of Little Dog's life his mother has never known. Episodes of bewilderment, fear, and passion, all the while moving closer to an unforgettable revelation. So I feel like this will be full of like family secrets and things like this. So, and it's pretty short, which is also great for readathons like this. I'll be reading this one. So this will be the readathon for A Game of Thrones, which takes place during the entire March, so March 1st to March 31st. I will link the announcements down below so you can check it yourself. And now onto the second readathon, the Gear Up for Magical Readathon Orilium. And here we have 2 prompts. We basically created a character and go through a journey. So the first prompt is based on which guild you belong to, and my character, Diana, belongs into the Order of the Crescent. And for this, you have to choose an animal or familiar, and then read a book with this animal on the cover, or in the story, or in the title. So I picked my familiar will be Fox. So for this, I'll be reading Fox and I. And then the second prompt is for what weapon you want to wield, or the conduit for magic. And conduit for magic, I was thinking between 3 different ones. I was thinking of wand, staff, or trident. But in the end, I decided to go for wand because it just feels more natural with my character, who is very nature driven, loves time in the nature and with the animals, and is very it just connects with the nature, so it feels like wand is a perfect conduit for her. And for this, the prompt is read a book with branches on the cover, and for this I'll be reading On Earth We Are Briefly Gorgeous, because you can see it is a branch. The entire cover is one branch with a universe in the back, or the night sky. So those are the books for the readathon, and this readathon takes place, I think it is the 2nd week of March, so I'm really excited about that. And then one last book I will be trying to read, or well, there are always more books, but I don't think I'll be able to read more than that, for G's Patreon book club pick, and that's Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. I haven't read anything by Neil Gaiman yet, so I'm really excited to dive into it, because I also had a colleague saying that she loves the Neil Gaiman's writing. So I think this is going to be fun. What this is about, I have absolutely no idea. This is probably YA fantasy. Under the streets of London, there is a place most people could never even dream of. A city of monsters and saints, murderers and angels, knights in armor and pale girls in black velvet. This is the city of the people who have fallen between the cracks. Richard Mayhew, a young businessman, is going to find out more than enough about this other London. A single act of kindness catapults him out of his workday existence and into a world that is at once eerily familiar and utterly bizarre. And a strange destiny awaits him down here beneath his native city, Neverwhere. Sounds like fun. Sounds like a good time. So we'll see how that goes. So my TBR for March is this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books. The Fox and I have on audiobook. So that's gonna be pretty easy to read, I think. And I imagine the Death Cure will be pretty fast read. This Woven Kingdom, it looks like a huge book, but font is really big as well. Like, I think this will be pretty quick read too. Or like, yeah, it is 500 pages, but I believe it's gonna be read much faster than that. So this is my TBR. We have Neverwhere, On Earth We Are Briefly Gorgeous, The Kite Runner, The Death Cure, This Changes Everything, and This Woven Kingdom, and Fox and I. And I'm so excited for this month. Also, I'll be trying to finish this book, which is almost 500 pages, and this book, which is like 300 more pages. So I have a lot to read, but it's gonna be so much fun. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what you are reading in March, if you are participating in any of the readathons, or if you read any of these books and what you thought, so we can discuss them once I read them. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!